Krishna Prabhuji, then my pranams. So sorry for the delay, but I'm glad everybody enjoyed Prabhuji's melodious kirtan, which we always do almost every week. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that. Hare Krishna. Let's do the Mangalacharan and then we shall resume our weekly session on Sutanacharan. So, Hare Krishna. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानजनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् श्रीयुधापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथवितं तं सजीवम् सादुतं भजनाफलप्रदूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता जगत्पते राधा कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे। शिला गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे।
Prabhu, your video is off, Prabhu.
Video. Hare Krishna. Is it there now, Prabhuji?
It is there, but we see only your background, not you.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Okay.
Check the shutter on the laptop.
Thank you, Prabhuji. 1 second. I think it's okay. Give me a moment, Prabhuji. It's
Maybe you
coming.
remove the background, Prabhu. That is much better.
Prabhuji, it's the external camera on the monitor. So I think the USB is just playing up. Give me a moment. I'm just changing the USB, and it does it sometimes. It will appear in a bit, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hopefully, it should come up. Okay, sure, Prabhuji. We have at the moment. I'll just remove the background, but I know this happens on this particular setup where I am at the moment. All right, it's. Meanwhile, I will just share my screen. Hare Krishna should appear. Hare Bol. Okay. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, could you confirm you can see
Yes,
now?
Prabhu. Now it is
Right.
fine, Prabhu.
Nice there. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thanks, Prabhuji. Sorry, this morning, and it's pretty early, but this morning the laptop didn't work as it's supposed to be. I'm glad we are there now. Haribo. Let me quickly share. So, right. Now, in this is another opportunity which Prabhuji put together for all of us. And thank you for Prabhuji, not only for Raman and Kanai Prabhuji, but Prabhuji who has been monitoring it, chasing us, getting this sorted. But straight to maybe probably I should start sharing it first. It's coming up soon. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, what I have done today, I have put together a presentation with the overview of the chapter. Well, probably the best that we quickly read. So I understand that today we are supposed to start with the text 1 to 5. Ruji, could you please confirm you can see the screen?
Yes, now Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you can, sorry, let me get the,
Yes, yes.
yeah, great. Sorry, I did hear, but wasn't sure. But I think I can hear now. Hare Krishna. Great. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure how today's session is going to go, but I think the laptop is playing up. I hope you could hear me. I hope you could see the screen as well. So I was saying there is a presentation I have put together and might not able to complete the whole presentation because when I started doing it, I went, I think, a bit more. I got carried away. So maybe the next preacher who would continue next week could continue with the presentation if you would like, and I would be more than happy to share, of course. But we will see how it goes. So let's get in straight. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 13, verse 1 to 5. जगन्नाथ देखी प्रभु रे से भावा उठियला से भावा विषहन दुया गौयला. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Similarly, after seeing Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awoke with the ecstasy of the gopis. Being absorbed in this ecstasy, he asked Sarup Damodar to sing the refrain. 126. Avesha Radha Krishna Kare Nivedana Say Tumhi Say Ami Say Nava Sangama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke thus to Lord Jagannath: You are the same Krishna, and I am the same Radharani. We are meeting again in the same way that we met in the beginning of our lives. 127. तथापि हमारा माना हरे वृंदावना वृंदावने उठाए करो ये अपना चरण. Though we are both the same, my mind is still attracted to Vrindavan Dhama. I wish that you will please again appear with your lotus feet in Vrindavan. Some devotee would like to recite this verse, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Please, Mataji.
ইহালোকারণ্য হাতি ঘোড়া রথ ধ্বনি তাহা পুষ্পারণ্য ভৃঙ্গ পিকনাদ শুনি.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Translation. In Kurukshetra, there are crowds of people, elephants and horses, and also the rattling of chariots. But in Vrindavan, there are flower gardens, and the humming of the bees and chirping of the birds can be heard. Anyone else would like to recite this verse, please? Oh, Mataji, please, be Krishna.
Mataji is singing very well, but let me try.
Please.
ताहा राजवेश संगे सब क्षत्रिय गण ताहा गोप वेश संगे मुरली वादन.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Translation. Here at Kurukshetra, you are dressed like a royal prince, accompanied by great warriors. But in Vrindavan, you appear just like an ordinary cowherd boy, accompanied only by your beautiful flute. Right? Okay, I'm pressing on the next. It's not going on. I will take that as a sign. I will stop here. There are a couple of more verses, 130th and 131st, which is a theme, and probably this is a good time. So I'm going to stop the presentation. Well, I'm going to stop here. Great, it's working. And I will start the sharing the presentation. Hopefully that will be picked. And I'm glad it's working. Hare Krishna. So please bear with me. Some technical issues. The laptop is not responding as it's supposed to be. Was working fine until yesterday. So where we are in this chapter, chapter 13, Madhya Lila. Of course, Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have Ant, we have Madhya, and we have Adi, Madhya, and Ant. In the Madhya, which is the middle, we are on chapter 13. In chapter 13, this particular section is we're going to understand from the external point of view, which is the Jagannath Puri's Ratha-Yatra happening. But then there is a internal, and this is probably as innermost bhava of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is manifesting himself, how he's feeling in the form of Radharani ji. And that's very hard to express, probably much more for us to feel it. But when I was reading it, and of course for a few weeks we've been doing it, this particular section from probably from verse 1 to 5 to 129, we read it, about 130, 131st, and then forward we will go in the conversation again. But here we have where Mahaprabhuji is in Radharani's bhav, could think of the time when Krishna and Balram revisited Vrindavan. So they're back in Vrindavan. So they were kids, they were children, and they were teenagers. They left They went to Mathura, they went to Kurukshetra, and then they came back to Vrindavan. And that's where we are. This is the plot. However, of course, on physical level, bodily level, currently is still everyone is in Jagannath Puri, but mentally they are thinking, especially Mahaprabhuji, that how Mahaprabhuji was there in Radha Bhav in Vrindavan. So briefly, it's always good to take a step back whenever we would like to jump forward. Always good to take a step back. So where we are in this chapter. So Jagannath's Rath-Yatra, the whole journey is there. The prep is there in the beginning, what we have already seen. Then the Rath-Yatra begins, which we have been observing for a few weeks. And now today, that Radha Bhava awakens. And as I was saying, that it's from external point of view, we could read the verses, but very intimate moments of someone, Radharani's hair, who could think of someone, Krishna, and how that we always say the bhava when we are missing someone. And this is exactly what's happening in these verses. And what going to happen after that? At the end, the Rath-Yatra will conclude at Gundisha temple. This is the journey of, so again, the physical to the intimate, where we will think the journey of the heart. How, so someone asked, actually, I think it was one of those conversation, a lot of questions were asked by Yaksha to Yudhishthir in Mahabharata, that what's there which goes faster, like heavier than earth is sin. What is the fastest thing? And Arjun mentioned it in the Bhagavad Gita as well regarding the mind. And Yudhishthir mentioned there in one of the answers there to that mind is the one which goes very fast. And this is where we are, the mind and the heart, which even though physically there in Jagannath Putri, at the front of the Rath Yatra, but the heart goes away. And the heart goes away. So there are few different ways how we could understand it. Anyone would like to read maybe all three? There are only three sentences there. Anyone? Chat.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
B. Krishna Prabhuji, please.
In the spiritual narrative, the theme depicts the soul's journey from Kurukshetra's struggles back to Vrindavan's divine love and peace. Symbolism of Ratha-Yatra, Lord Jagannath's chariot represents consciousness moving towards its original divine home. Devotional perspective, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's view transforms the festival into an internal pilgrimage of the heart and soul.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So I guess it's quite, as I was saying, the word could be intimate, internal pilgrimage of the heart and the soul. So where we are, but where we could be. And if we all could feel that. So someone said that, does liberation comes after death? And said those who are Mahabhagat, they could feel Krishna as they could. So sorry, I'm breaking there. But one of the questions yesterday in at Manna was asked from one of the Maharajis that the realization, one of the Mataji asked that Prabhu, how realization happens. And Maharaji said that realization, when the Mahabhagavats, they have the realizations, they could actually see. They could see. So when Ved Vyasa put together the Vedic scriptures, it's not that it was in the memory. He could see from the mercy of the Guru, but he could see the past, present, and the future. And probably this is what happening, that not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is there who could just think of this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji could view this right exactly when it was happening. So while everyone externally could see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is there dancing at the front of Jagannath Ratha-Yatra, the chariots, but could feel that while Krishna and Balarama leaving, gopis of the Braj are there in Vrindavan. So hopefully I've just zoomed in. Now this is where the whole sequence we could understand. We have seen very briefly, but we'll see it again, that Mahaprabhuji's Rath Yatra could be so there could be so many different things while I was reading, and that's why the previous slide said that there could be so many different angles and so many different perspectives, so many different learnings there. Now, of course, intellectually we could understand it, but on the bhava level, we could feel like what Radharani ji could feel about Krishna. It's hard, but a bit of try, or we could think there are all these verses we have read, there wasn't any purport in it. The purpose will come few verses later. But what we could feel what Radhaji has been feeling so far in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. So this is what happens in the chapter. It's building up to this level. It's not that straight away, however, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji at that level could happen, that at one glance it could happen. You could move where you are with everyone, and the way we say penny drops and you transform into a different planet all together in one go. It could happen, but for us to understand, it's a build-up. And in the build-up, like we have seen in the chapter, what happens in the beginning, the rituals happens. The king comes up, king sweeps the road, and it's getting ready for all of us. Probably in our spiritual progress, this is what we do it as well. Especially when we become the sadhaka, we all are. So we start with neophyte, then we become the madhyam, and hopefully we will all become liberated. Rath Yatra begins, and this is the Yatra where Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji started it as well. So he didn't feel this moment, he is feeling it, but when Yatra started, everyone comes together. That, if you could imagine, of course, I'm sure a lot of us been there in Rath Yatras. We could imagine when the Yatrata is starting and the build-up is there. This is exactly, it's even been mentioned how many people are doing the kirtans, how many people doing the mridangs, what kind of devotional singings are there. There are many other scriptures being written on Yatratras, and we could get all that. Now, if we just think of it while reading, if just close the eyes, feel it where we are, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is, right at that moment when Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji reaches. Then, now on the fifth point, if you see on the right, it says Mahaprabhuji dances inspiring the devotees. So whether Mahaprabhuji planned it or it just happened. Now, there could be two things. A lot of time, Siksha gurus, Diksha gurus, they do something to inspire others, to put the example forward so everyone else could follow. Or is one of those that when sometimes very rare moments, but Srila Prabhupada ji did it. Srila Prabhupada ji's closed eyed and he was gone. And few moments later, he came back, and everybody in the presence could feel it. Whether someone planned it or it just happened. For Mahaprabhuji, it felt like it just happened. But that inspired everyone. That really did inspire everyone there. Everyone along started singing, and there were signs there. Now, where it says verse 1, 3, 1, 3, 1 to 5, 13, 1 to 5, this is where the Radha Bhav Until now, he was dancing, and that was inspiring as well. Everyone loved it, and everyone along dancing, and we have felt it. We have felt in the kirtans, in the association of Guru Maharaj Ji, senior devotees. But this is probably one of the first time during Rath Yatra in this chapter when Mahaprabhu Ji is not Mahaprabhu Ji anymore. He is in the bhava of Radharani Ji. And then that devotion comes up. That is, so of course, we have discussed it before in Adi Leela as well, that what are the reasons Mahaprabhu Ji came along? And this was one of those to express, of course, to feel the devotion of a devotee, but of course, to express and to motivate, inspire all of us, all of us. But this is in Jagannath Puri, but the mood is of Vrindavan. Or maybe in Kurukshetra, but longing for the Vrindavan, longing when we have the desire. So, of course, this Vrindavan could be the Bhu on planet Earth, but this Vrindavan could be the, for us, if we think of this Vrindavan, could be the one where we would all like to go back in Goloka Dhama, Goloka Vrindavan, staying back with Krishna. But this is not where we got Krishna. This is where we would like to be. So, this is where we want to be. And this is exactly the moment where we are. And probably this is the best, as it says. That's why the Gopi and in Gopi, Radharani Ji's Bhava is the best. Now, of course, goes forward, the chariot will continue, and then we reach to Gundicha temple. But here in these verses, it's just hanging on to their Bhava. And what else could happen on during that moments? If we are just going to discuss those moments, what's happening, then again, very intimate moments, very hard, at least for me to feel it, to put in words, to share it. Someone else, somewhere else, one of very poetically, someone said, "This is the jnana, this is the knowledge of someone who cannot speak, who cannot speak." But he or she needs to express in words what the person has felt. Now, how that person will express, because a person cannot speak. And this is what's happening here. At least for me, how we could understand it. All these things are happening. The devotional dance is going on. And this devotional dance is not just what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji is doing it. This is the one which Radharani ji is doing it. And this is where we go back to Bhagavatam. The kirtan is going on, and this kirtan is the lila which is happening there in Goloka Dham. Musical instruments are playing along, of course, in in kirtan. So we are going to have a kirtan Sunday at our place soon, and we have invited some of the mridang players or those who could recite very nicely, those who could play along very well, all they again kind of build up to that moment because this happens. Now, this is very symbolic. We could read this as a pastime if you like to, or we could cherish the moments, we could try to understand or probably able to feel even portion of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji is feeling in the form of Radharani. She's there. So this is again where we could feel where we could feel the external pastime, or we could get into the inner mood and try to reflect the very deep spiritual, emotional. Now it says the blend of joy and sorrow. And that's where it is. Purva Bhava, where we would like to meet someone, but at the same time, so we are very happy. We are very happy because we are thinking of someone, we are missing someone. But again, at the same time, because we are missing, we are we are in sorrow. And people usually use the words that these are the tears of joy. And those who haven't shed those tears of joys usually feel that how does that happen? I remember very first time for something. I can't think of what, but my wife did it. She was crying, but she was very happy. And my daughter, who was probably 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and she said it. And my wife said, no, 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 I'm happy. And I also said, no, 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 she's happy and that's why she's crying. Sometimes it happens. But my daughter couldn't understand. So sometimes when and if you think of some of us, like myself, if we are still so childish in spiritual progress, then it's hard to understand how someone could feel that. And certainly that's what I'm feeling at the moment. And even while I was reading it, and last week Prabhuji read it, and I'm sure whoever will read it again later, these verses are full of those inner longings. And the turning point which comes in, where the gopis are in the probably the highest ecstasy as it could get. This is the moment where, as I said, the words cannot express it, but nothing else is required. Probably it's the moment where we don't even want to meet someone. Do we have, I'm thinking of the example, but there have been some examples. It's one of those examples when we are missing someone and the person is there at the gate. And someone said, oh, the person you want to meet, the person is there at the gate. And we don't want to open the gate. We don't want to open the gate. The person is there at the gate. We've been longing to meet the person, but we don't. And I will give one material example. There's a book written by a Brazilian, Paulo Coelho. I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's a Brazilian guy. And he has written a book. A book is very famous. Hopefully, someone of you might have read it. Alchemist, The Alchemist. And there, the person needed to go somewhere. For example, let's take the example of Vrindavan. The person, let's say, so I live in Delhi, or I was born in Delhi. From Delhi, someone would like to go to Vrindavan. It's only a couple of hours. I've met people in London Temple who said that the whole purpose of their life is that one day they will go to Vrindavan. I've met a person. But let's say someone reaches Delhi because the flight from London will land to Delhi and you're in Delhi hotel. You're going to go to Vrindavan. It's only a couple of hours away. And then you will ask the person, are you ready? We will sit in the car and we will go there. And the person will say, no, I'm not ready. So throughout your life, you've been building on for that moment, and you said the whole purpose of your life is to go to Vrindavan. And now we are ready to go to Vrindavan. Are you ready? And the person will say, no, I'm not. Why not? Why not? And if I can explain that, the reason person isn't ready, because if that motive, which has been the whole purpose of the life of the person, if that motive, that purpose will get fulfilled by reaching to Vrindavan, what else is left in the life to do? Because that is the purpose which has been holding the person. And person didn't go. Person said, I would like to live with that in that separation because that's much more relishable for me. That showing how longing intensifies divine connection and joy. So that longing probably is much more than getting it. And if we can think that there could be many material examples. We would like to work hard to get a degree, maybe 3 years, 4 years. And when the degree will be given to us, it's just one movement. Here we go, you got a degree. You walk on to the platform, the degree is as a certificate piece of paper is going to hand over to you. Is that much more? Or the 3, 4 years of build-up was much more where you experience it. So this is what's happening. Of course, it's transcendental. And there are lots of movement, lots of sections here which could happen. So, as I said, I'm not going to complete the whole presentation. probably will stop in 5 minutes. But someone else who like to make a good use of the presentation, it feels so. But what we could see, the very first thing was the meeting in Kurukshetra, what happens there. It's a bittersweet, as I said, the joys of happiness, the tears of happiness. You're crying, but at the same time you're happy. So it's those mixed feelings, and that's why I say the mixed feelings are very hard to explain, because whichever way you will say, you can't express it. If you will say you are happy but you are sorrow as well, but if you try to explain sorrow, then you're not happy. And this is the contrast. But sometimes, as people say, we have a lot of dishes in Delhi where we'll say put like what we say, golgappa, and you put the sweet chutney, but at the same time you put the, so sweet chutney tend to be red, and then you will put green chutney which is bitter. So at the same time you like sweet and bitterness together. And this is khatta meetha. So it's a bitter, it's sorrow, but at the same time it's very sweet as well. So it's mix of those feelings which we would like to be, and this is what's happening. It's beautiful. Right, okay. I will probably share this analogy, which has been shared somewhere in the Grantha, and then we will stop, and maybe some discussion points, maybe question and answers, or any takeaway anyone else has it, or if we still have time, we can have some more. But in this analogy, if you think a childhood friend, which was a child. And of course, this goes back to Vrindavan, where a lot of friends were there playing with Krishna in Vrindavan. A lot of leelas happen. But at some point, you would meet the childhood friend goes away. For many years, you haven't met that childhood friend. But then one day in your career, you walks into a boardroom and that childhood friend is there. Maybe you went for an interview, the childhood friend is on the other side of the table. Now, at that moment, you're happy to see, but you cannot, because circumstances will not permit you to walk and give a big hug to your friend then and there. Maybe after the meeting or interview, yes, you might. But the feeling, that mixed feelings, you're happy to see, but again at the same time, well, it's a very different mood, different setup. When a devotee from Vrindavan goes to Mathura and sees Lord Krishna sitting there on the throne as a king, and say, well, but this is not the same Krishna. But I'm happy to see Krishna, but this is not the same Krishna. And this is what Radharani's, Mahaprabhuji in Radharani's form, missing the longing for Vrindavan, that how we could go back to Vrindavan. And there are few more slides on it, but as I said, probably we won't be able to do it today. Or maybe we could, but we will stop here. I don't want to overrun. Had a bit of misskill in the beginning. But I will request devotees to participate. Anyone would like to share any? I'm sure you would have read it. Anyone would like to share your feelings? Try to put in different words, or any corrections, maybe, any questions, maybe, any discussion points, please. Hare Krishna. Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please.
Sadar Pancham pranams to
Hare
you and all the devotees.
Hare.
Prabhuji, actually, just a small point that can I know the takeaway point of today's discussion as you see, because I, as a devotee, see myself one step ahead of material people, but hugely low from exalted pure devotees. So, how to understand it all deeply, the divine bliss or ecstasy as they feel, because
Mhm,
everyone takes it accordingly, according to their understanding, their, going through pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita I get confused sometimes because all days are not same, you know. At times the mercy is on a higher scale, and at times I have to struggle hard. So,
Yes.
what will you suggest me? You know, I just want to know that. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for such a lovely question, Mataji. And this is one of the slides which I put together. This, as I said, you're so right, Mataji. It is hard. It's very hard to understand. And the reason I put together this slide, that when you said how to understand and what is the takeaway, this is the analogy of the mother and child is given. Now, for mother, or probably for the parents, were more relevant to mothers. For mother to give a birth to the child, is it joyful or is it painful? Now, again, it's both. But which one is more? The process, what I understand, is I read it somewhere that it's probably the most painful process any human could go through. But at the same time, the joy when a mother, a parent, see the child of a healthy, well, face of the healthy child, and it cannot be expressed. It could be felt, but it cannot be expressed. Now, when you say, Mataji, the takeaway for me is what it says is spontaneity. And yesterday I did a presentation, and in that presentation, I mentioned this that when a brahmachari joined the London temple, Bhaktivedanta Manor, so everybody welcomed it, and he had a mentor, and the mentor said, "Yo," because that was the very first time he joined the ashram, said that you could do anything you want. You could do anything you want, but just one request we have, just one request. And that Prabhuji, I know, been there for many years now. He said, I still remember that one request, and I'm still working on that. He said, I might not able to complete my malas, but I would like to follow on that one request. And that one request could be a takeaway for all of us. And that request was from the mentor to the new brahmachari who has been serving for many years now. And he says, still, I'm following on that. And if that one thing I could maintain, probably rest of the thing will fall into place. And that one thing is, Prabhuji requested this new brahmachari joining that do whatever you want to do, of course, based on the regulative principles, but don't be a mithyachari. Don't be a mithyachari. So for me, Mataji, the takeaway is that don't be a mithyachari. Now, what that mithyachari could mean is that we don't want to pretend anything. So when you said that there are ups and downs, what I understand, Mataji, till the end, the ups and downs will be there. Of course, until we pass on that threshold, after that, it's all Satchitta Ananda. Then, like what Krishna says, there is no fall down. But until we cross that threshold, we are there in these gunas. They will be there, and the ups and downs will be there. If you think of His Holiness Jayapataka Swamiji Guru Maharaj on bodily level, a lot of pains are there. A lot of time, Guru Maharaj Ji says, I'm not for the devotees. Sometimes when the devotees come along, that this devotee is doing this devotee is doing that. Sometimes Guru Maharaj is happy with one devotee, sometimes chastising other devotees, sometimes happy with devotees, sometimes might not be. So the mixed emotions, Mataji, what I understand will always be there. And as long as we are truthful to that, if we understand something, we can. One day the malas, we don't want to stop at 16. But one day it's a big struggle to do 16. Which is right and which is wrong. Now, the connection between mother and child is very personal. No one is there to judge it, no one is there to imitate it. The similar way, the relationship for each soul with Super Soul, with Krishna, is very unique. I don't think anyone is there to judge. Of course, our Guru Maharaj is there, the senior Vaishnavas are there to inspire us. Guru Maharaj could say, which we could not understand about ourselves. But there is no one who could judge, there is no one could understand. So, Mataji, one, if I would say, we can read all this, we can understand based on our experience, based on our intellectual level. By the end of the day, what do we feel? That's the reality for us. We should not be a mithyachari. That's what I could understand. If anyone else would like to add anything, please are welcome. If somebody else could explain in better words, better analogy, better. A lot of devotees have intimate experience. I hope, Mataji, that gave a bit of.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji. I would like to say something. Like
Please.
very nice example that you gave of a child's birth. One forgets the pain one goes through when one sees the healthy, beautiful child in one's lap, for sure,
Yes.
no doubt in that. At the end, as you said, there is Satchit Anand. So this is a process, bhakti is a process we all are going through, and how we protect, nurture it, that matters most. What I feel, what you want to
Very
like.
nice.
Very nice about that. And like every individual takes it differently. If I talk about myself,
Yes.
you compare the process, the pregnancy process with bhakti, and at the end, when the child comes in your lap, it is Satchit Anand. It's a bliss. It's a celebration for mother.
Yes.
So beautifully explained, and the correct example you gave, and I'm very thankful to you for giving such a nice answer. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Then with
Krishna.
pranams to you. All the best.
Dhanva Pranam,
Thank you.
Mataji. Thank you so much. You concluded it so very well, Mataji. I have used so many different words, but in a couple of sentences, you concluded so very well. Thank you so much for that. Hare Krishna. And all the parents could understand. With the kids, it's always ups and downs. A lot of times, especially in India, I remember I was born in Delhi. A lot of Punjabi moms are there. I don't know if there is any Punjabi here, but Punjabi mothers are very good in cursing the kids. So they will just say, go and throw yourself in the well. Now, no mother dreams that for the child, but they say it. Why? Because the kid is giving some kind of trouble. But that's there. Now, devotees, do we want to get into Satyachitanand? Probably yes, maybe. But I guess the destination is going to be so again, I must have read it somewhere, it always stuck with me. The destination will be beautiful, but the journey has to be enjoyable. The journey has to be enjoyable. So whether the kids will become Krishna consciousness, whether the kids will become great Nobel Prize winners or materially as successful as possible, but parenting should be cherishable. They would remember, and hopefully we would remember. Hare Krishna. And thank you so much for Mataji asking question and a great discussion point. Thank you so much for the devotees who have given their blessings in the chat. The analogies, the stories, analytical, this is the best I could do. It's very hard for me to express the feelings. I'm still working on that, but far, far away. But of course, there are many senior devotees who could express it much, much better. So we are there at the end. Anyone else could add more? Anything I might have missed? Again, my apologies, couldn't do the justice to the service today. But anything else anyone would like to add, please? Prabhuji.
Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Ratna.
Then with
Thank you so
Pranam
much, Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
for
Hare Krishna.
wonderfully explaining the pastime with the various analogies and analytical, as Mataji was also mentioning. This is very heart-touching Um, and the 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 discussion about ups and downs from a slightly different perspective, if you see, uh, because we are in this material world, we can't expect any up. It has to be only down. There is nothing like up and down. This is only down. But as a devotee, we have to make sure that there are ups also in the life. That ups comes only when we are in Krishna consciousness. Down comes because we are affected by three modes of material nature, and always. And I heard one of the lecture from Gauranga Das Prabhu. He was mentioning that our life should be easier, uh, like always ups and downs. If there is no up, there is only down straight, then we are dead. So we should not be like a dead ECR report. It should be a live ECR report where always there are ups and downs. It has to be like that.
Yes.
Otherwise, straight means we are dead. There is nothing in this material world which can save us. So we have to make sure that when we are in Krishna consciousness, taking the process very seriously, and keep this ups and downs has to be there. And the analogy you mentioned about meeting a childhood friend in the boardroom was very apt to the context what we are discussing. When Chaitanya Prabhu, Krishna meets all the gopis in Kurukshetra, so they have that mixed feelings of separation and love. So we have to understand that actually Lord is longing, He's waiting for us. He is waiting for us to meet. And when we meet, the kind of the happiness, pleasure, what he experiences is we see it in um, Brihad Bhagavatamrita in various instances when we were discussing. So
Yeah.
Lord actually is waiting. We should not make him wait more. So he wants us to come, and he is coming several times to pull us back, and he is sending his confident associates. One example which has came to my mind when I was hearing your session was that suppose we are going from Delhi to Vrindavan, few hours journey. As you are giving an example of traveling from Delhi to Vrindavan. We know that it is only a few hours journey from there, a very short distance by road. And suppose there is an appointment or some event, some activity which is happening, say Janmashtami festival or whatever it is, and something is happening in Vrindavan, and we have to be there particular time. That time we can't, so we have to be there before that. We started our journey. We can do anything during the journey. We can sit at some of the dhabas and relax and enjoy some nice recipes, dishes, and make the whole journey long to days. It is possible. But if we really know that yes, I have to be there particular moment, I should not miss this event, then the journey will be serious. So there is no a lot of distractions on the way. With their dhabas and their hotels and there are so many things. Even nowadays, even so many unwanted things are coming up during the journey. So as long as we're not distracted and keep walking, keep going towards our direction, towards our destination, understanding well that I have to be there on that particular moment, I should not miss that activity. That exactly is what we are trying to understand from this discussion. That Lord is waiting, and our journey is we know our destination, but during our journey of our life, if we get distracted and enjoying the dhapas, enjoying the samosas, enjoying all this, of course, I'm not pointing out anybody here, but I'm talking about the distractions. So we get distracted to so many other things, then there is no ups and downs, there is only straight line. So we are dead. Spiritually, we are dead. So this is one realization which I got from today's discussion.
Great, great. Thank you for sharing that, Prabhuji. Very, very nicely put. A lot of distractions are there. And to be honest, not only material, these days, even spiritually, there are so many, there could be. Devotees get into Hare Krishna movement, but rather than focusing on the destination to reach to Vrindavan, get engaged in a lot of other sometimes services people can stuck with, which are important. So traveling from one place to another is important. Maybe to take a comfort break in between is important, is
Yes.
essential. But yes, it's not a place to enjoy because the destination is where we like to be. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. We should not spend time in the window shopping, as we say. The the real progress is there right at the end. So great point on that, Prabhuji. Very nicely put. Thank you so much. It's a good time now. Anyone else would like to add anything to what we have said so far? Or are we ready to close today's session? Probably a good time. Don't see any messages in the chat. No one is raising hands. Is okay, Prabhuji, to close today's session?
Yes, Prabhu. So if there are no other further questions, comments, we can.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for everyone's blessings, everyone's presence. Hare Krishna. Somebody has unmuted.
No, it's